Most women, at some point in their journey, will encounter the man who is not a king, but a mere shadow of one. He is the man who carries the weight of a crown he hasn't earned, a scepter that feels like a burden, and a kingdom that is perpetually on the brink of collapse. He doesn't command respect, he demands it. He doesn't inspire loyalty, he enforces it through manipulation and subtle threats. This is the Shadow King, and his court is built on the ruins of broken promises and unfulfilled potential. He is a paradox, a dual archetype of the tyrant and the weakling, a man whose outward show of power is nothing but a fragile facade designed to conceal the deep-seated insecurities and unhealed wounds of his inner child. He is the man who can't bear the weight of his own inner shadow. His unintegrated darkness, the parts of him he despises and denies, are projected onto the world around him, especially onto the women he seeks to control. He sees in you not a partner, but a mirror, a surface on which he can project his own failures, his own fears, and his own shame. He will demand that you shrink yourself to fit into the small, confined space he has allotted for you, a space where your light cannot outshine his own dim glow. He cannot tolerate a woman who is fully individuated, who is whole, because your wholeness illuminates his own fragmentation. He fears your freedom because it reminds him of his own inner bondage. Consider the tyrant. He is the man who, in the name of love and protection, seeks to dominate and control. He will dictate your choices, your friends, your passions, and even your thoughts. His control is not born of love, it is born of fear. He fears losing you because your departure would mean facing the emptiness within himself. He believes that by controlling you, he can control the chaos of his own inner world. His tyrannical behavior is a desperate attempt to create a sense of order in a mind plagued by a profound lack of self-worth. He will gaslight you into believing that his control is a form of care, that his jealousy is a sign of his deep affection. He will tell you that he is simply protecting you, when in reality, he is imprisoning you. He needs to feel powerful because deep down, he feels utterly powerless. Then, there is the weakling, the other face of the Shadow King. This is the man who is perpetually a victim. The world, he insists, is against him. His failures are always someone else's fault, his boss, his parents, his friends, and most of all, you. He is a master of emotional blackmail, using his perceived fragility and suffering to manipulate your compassion. He will tell you how much he needs you, how he would be lost without you, and in doing so, he places an immense and unfair burden of responsibility on your shoulders. He wants you to become his emotional crutch, his therapist, his surrogate mother. He does not seek a partnership of equals, he seeks a savior. This weakling is a master of passive aggression, a man who will withdraw and punish you with silence, a man who will feign hurt to avoid accountability. He uses his vulnerability as a weapon, a means to control you, without ever having to assert his power directly. The dance of the tyrant and the weakling is a cyclical, exhausting pattern. When his control is challenged, the tyrant emerges, full of rage and resentment. When his facade of power crumbles, the weakling returns, cloaked in self-pity and sorrow. This oscillation is a sign of a deeply unintegrated psyche, a man who has not done the essential work of facing his own shadow. He has not wrestled with the parts of himself that are selfish, lazy, insecure, or cruel. Instead, he has externalized them, projecting them onto you and others, blaming the world for the very darkness he refuses to acknowledge within himself. This is not the dance of two lovers, it is the desperate performance of a man running from his own reflection, and you have been cast as the unwilling co-star in his one-man tragedy. He demands a woman who is not a queen in her own right, but a subject in his crumbling kingdom. And what is the root of this profound inner conflict? It is often the man who, as a boy, was never allowed to fully individuate. He was told, implicitly or explicitly, that his true feelings were unacceptable. Perhaps his strength was praised, but his vulnerability was shamed. Perhaps his father was a distant figure, an emotional desert, leaving him to piece together a fragmented and distorted image of what a man should be. Or perhaps his mother, in her own unhealed state, suffocated him with an enmeshed love that prevented him from developing a robust, independent sense of self. He was never allowed to experience the necessary struggles that forge an authentic identity. He never learned to sit with his own discomfort, to face his own fears, to be his own hero. Instead, he developed a false self, a mask of strength and competence that, in the quiet of the night, feels like a flimsy costume. This is the man who fears exposure above all else. His deepest terror is that you, or anyone, will see the shivering, inadequate boy hiding behind the fortress of his ego. The Stoic philosophers understood this dynamic well. Marcus Aurelius spoke of the importance of an inner citadel, a fortress of the mind that no external event could breach. The Shadow King has no such citadel. His inner world is a ruin, a city without walls, and so he must desperately try to build a wall around you instead, believing that your containment will somehow secure his own. He is a man who confuses control with courage, and who mistakes dominance for dignity. His projections are a constant, insidious force. When he accuses you of being selfish, it is because he is wrestling with his own unacknowledged selfishness. When he calls you manipulative, it is because he cannot face the ways in which he manipulates others. When he says you are too emotional or irrational, he is attempting to sever a connection to the very emotions he has long suppressed within himself. You become his scapegoat, the living vessel for his disowned traits. The tragedy is that he does not see you. He sees only a distorted reflection of his own inner landscape. He projects his unhealed wounds onto you, and then, in a cruel twist of irony, he holds you responsible for them. This is why his love often feels like a heavy chain. It is not a love that seeks to uplift and free. It is a love that seeks to possess and confine. It is a transactional love, a bargaining chip. He will offer you fleeting moments of praise and affection, only to withdraw them the moment you step outside of his prescribed boundaries. This intermittent reinforcement creates a state of perpetual anxiety and emotional dependency, a state that is deeply familiar to the archetypal victim he embodies. He wants you to become emotionally addicted to his approval, to his validation, because he is emotionally addicted to the control he exerts over you. He is a man trapped in a cycle of his own making, a cycle of tyranny and weakness, and he needs a partner to play the codependent role in his unending drama. But what of your own role in this dance? The truth, a difficult one to swallow, is that this dynamic can only exist when your own inner boundaries are permeable. His projections can only land if there is a place for them to stick. The Shadow King often seeks out women who have not yet fully claimed their own worth, women who, perhaps, have an unintegrated anima, the unconscious feminine within the male psyche, and who therefore may unconsciously be seeking a masculine figure to complete them. He seeks out women who are natural nurturers, women with a deep capacity for empathy, because he knows he can exploit that empathy. He preys on the woman who is a giver, a fixer, a savior, because he is a taker, a breaker, a man in need of rescue. He sees the light in you, and rather than being inspired by it, he seeks to dim it, to make it small enough that it doesn't expose the vast, unlit void within him. His entire existence is a warning sign, a flare sent up from a sinking ship, but his siren song can be seductive to the woman who has not yet learned to trust the calm waters of her own soul. What then is the way out of this labyrinth? It begins with a ruthless act of self-honesty, a descent into your own inner world to confront your own shadow. This is not about blaming yourself for his behavior. It is about reclaiming your power by acknowledging the part of you that was open to it. This is the essence of Jungian shadow work, the process of integrating the disowned parts of your own psyche. Perhaps you have a part of you that fears abandonment so deeply that you would tolerate anything to avoid it. Perhaps you have an unhealed wound from childhood, a belief that you are not enough, which makes his intermittent validation feel like a lifeline. These are not flaws, they are simply the raw material of your own individuation journey. The first step to breaking free is to stop seeking a savior in him and to become your own. This means ceasing to act as his therapist, his emotional caretaker, or his rescuer. His weakness is not your responsibility to heal. His tyrannical behavior is not your burden to bear. He must face his own darkness alone, or not at all. You cannot do his work for him. In fact, by trying to fix him, you are enabling his cycle of dependency and control. You are, in essence, preventing him from hitting the very rock bottom that might force him to confront his own shadow. The most loving thing you can do for him, and for yourself, is to disengage from the codependent dynamic. This is not about a lack of empathy, it is about an act of self-preservation. It is the wisdom of Epictetus, who taught that true freedom lies in understanding what is within your control and what is not. You cannot control his choices, his feelings, or his actions. You can only control your own. This requires you to build your own inner citadel. You must become your own rock, your own source of validation. The validation he doles out in small, conditional doses is a mirage. True validation comes from within, from a deep and unshakable belief in your own worthiness. This is not an arrogant confidence, but a quiet, powerful knowing. It is the recognition that you are whole and complete on your own, and that a partner should be a companion on your journey, not the destination itself. When you build this inner fortress, his projections will no longer land. His insults will sound like the hollow threats they are. His attempts at manipulation will feel transparent and pathetic, not because he has changed, but because you have. This is the ultimate act of defiance against the Shadow King, to become the queen of your own domain. The queen does not seek permission to reign. She does not need external validation to know her worth. She does not shrink her light to make others feel more comfortable. She shines unapologetically, radiating an energy of self-respect and sovereignty that is both magnetic and repellent. It will magnetize men who are secure in their own identity, men who are whole and seek a partnership of equals. It will repel the Shadow King, who cannot stand in the presence of a woman who is not a subject but a fellow ruler. The ultimate warning sign is not his behavior alone, but your own reaction to it. Do you feel a constant need to earn his love? Do you find yourself walking on eggshells, editing your thoughts and words to avoid his rage or his withdrawal? Do you feel a persistent ache of emotional exhaustion? These are not signs of a difficult relationship. They are signs that you are entangled with a man who is at war with himself, and you are caught in the crossfire. Your job is not to win his war for him, but to recognize that it is not your war to fight. Your path is one of liberation, of emotional freedom, and of the profound realization that the only kingdom you are meant to rule is your own. To disentangle from the Shadow King, you must first master the art of detachment. Not a cold, heartless detachment, but a stoic detachment from outcomes that are not within your control. This means releasing the fantasy of what he could be, of the man he has the potential to become, if only he would do the work. The truth is, that man may never exist. Your love cannot be a magical catalyst for his transformation. His healing, if it happens at all, must be a journey he chooses to undertake for himself, fueled by his own desire for authenticity and freedom, not by your love or your labor. This detachment also means letting go of your need for his approval. Your self-worth should not be a negotiation, a fragile thing that can be granted or revoked based on his mood. The moment you stop needing him to see your value is the moment his power over you evaporates. He is an emperor with no clothes, and you are the one who has been pretending his regal robes are real. When you look at him with the clear eyes of a woman who knows her own worth, you will see not a king, but a deeply wounded man, a human being who is as deserving of compassion as anyone, but who is not entitled to your life, your energy, or your soul. Your compassion can exist from a safe distance, not from a place of entanglement. The true act of empowerment is not in fighting him, but in choosing yourself. This is the Jungian concept of individuation in its most radical form. It is the journey of becoming the woman you were always meant to be, a woman who is not defined by her relationship to a man, but by her relationship to her own soul. This journey is lonely at times. It requires you to sit with discomfort, to face the fears that his presence may have been a distraction from. It requires you to set fierce and unyielding boundaries, to say no to his demands, his manipulations, and his projections, even when it feels terrifying. The freedom you seek is not the absence of a tyrant, but the presence of your own inner authority. It is the quiet knowing that you are the author of your own story, and you have the right to edit out any character who refuses to respect your narrative. This is the end of the drama, the final act of the tragedy. You are not a damsel in distress. You are the hero of your own epic. The Shadow King may continue his performance on his lonely stage, but you will have already left the theater. You will walk out into the sunlight, into the world of possibility, where your wholeness will attract a love that is whole, where your strength will be met with respect, and where the man who walks beside you will not seek to dim your light, but will be inspired to shine his own. You are not meant to be a subject in a man's crumbling kingdom. You are meant to be a queen in a world you have built for yourself, a world where your sovereignty is absolute and your inner peace is unassailable.